Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Steffi and today I have for you my favorite TBR. So in February, I want to do Feb. If you don't know, it's a reading challenge. You only read fantasy romance in February. I wanted to do this last year and I didn't do it. I end up reading a lot of other stuff. So this year I do want to do it. I think I'm gonna have some reads that are in fantasy romance, but I think it's gonna be a good cleanser in between reads. So first thing first, for the Read Your Bookshelf challenge, I said I was going to read The Dragon Promise, and I end up not doing that. And the reason is that I just found out about new Rick Riordan's book, and I thought that this book was Nico's and Will's story, and I think this story takes place after the trials of Apollo, and I have to finish The Heirs of Olympus first. So I'm in no rush to read that book. Also, I read The Hidden Oracle, but nothing else. So I need to read a lot of stuff before I can read the new book. But then I realized that this new book is actually Percy Annabeth and Grover's new story. And I'm so excited for it. So I actually changed my plans. And I end up reading The House of Hades, the next book that I had to read in the Heirs of Olympus series. So the thing is that for February, you need to read a book that has the complementary color of the first book you read. I don't have this dust jacket right now. It's in a box somewhere. I actually spray painted this. And it looks really good. So I know that in the cover, it's like a lot of purples and reds and oranges. And I'm just gonna go with this purple of the naked hardcover. This is more of a red violet. So the complementary color for this will be like a yellow green. And that gives me two choices. For some reason, I don't have many green books in my TBR. So like I said, I have two choices for this. One will be Graceling. It does have green and actually kind of lime green on the cover. I know the new cover is actually green. So this will be one choice and this will be the other. I do want to read this book, but I think I'm not ready for this. Also, I want to read a couple of things before this. Fairy Tale of London, I think, and like 5 other short stories before I read this. This is going to be probably what I'm going to read. So I don't know if there is romance in this book. I think, hopefully. But yeah, this is going to be for my Read Your Bookshelf challenge. Then for the Elise adventure, I said I was going to read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I started that book on audiobook and I listened to it for an hour and it was super boring. So I haven't continued with that. But I can count a couple of other books that I have read this month. So I think I'm gonna count Priest for this, like starting a series. You know what you'll figure out what I think in my January wrap up. But yeah, that's what I'm counting. So I'm gonna go to the forest and I need a book with trees on the cover. And I don't really have like prompts for Feb. I think we usually have like a board like other years, but I don't know, we don't have that yet, and I don't know if I'm going to follow that. So I'm just gonna read fantasy romance. But this is actually great because this is a fantasy romance that has a tree on the cover. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see. So A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer Armentrout. I'm finally going to read this. This is the spin-off of From Blood and Ash. I've heard this is very similar to the first book, which I'm all in for. I really like it from Blood and Ash. I haven't continued the series. I don't know if I'm going to continue the series, but I did want to read the spin-off. I think this is the story of the first Maiden, which interesting. Like I said, I only needed to know it's from Jennifer L. Armentrout. It's the story of the first Maiden, and it's a fantasy romance. So there it is. Then, because I don't know what makes me think I'm going to be able to read so many books in 1 month, but I'm going to talk about the other books I'm probably going to read. So the next book is Beneath the Starlit Sea. This is a book I got from NetGalley and I haven't read. One of my goals this year is to go through my NetGalley shelf. So yeah, this is one of them. It's not very long. I think it has like 300 pages, something like that. What I know about this book is that the main character is some kind of witch. And I think it has some kind of mythology. And apparently it's a fantasy romance. I didn't know that. If I would have known that, I think I would have read this before. Yeah, I'm keeping this because it's kind of short. It's in my NetGalley shelf and it actually sounds interesting. Then I have A Duel with the Vampire Lord by Elise Kova. Like I said, this is one of the books. It's in my 23 books I want to read this year. Ever since last year, I've been in the mood for vampires. So this is fate. So this book is about a girl that she kind of sacrifices herself and goes and marries the Vampire Lord to make some kind of treaty, but sparks fly and I don't know what else happens because I only care that it's a fantasy romance. The next book is When Moths Love a Bee. This is a book that I found out through NetGalley, but it's due released February 3rd, I think. And it sounds really good. It's a fantasy romance, but I think it's a bit dark. I don't know how much dark. I haven't seen that it might have trigger warnings or anything, but yeah. If you're interested in that, just beware. What got me about this book is that it says that one of them is like this salvation to this world, like something really good, and the other character is like something really bad. So yeah, opposites. The other book I have is Fairy Fallen. It has a really good rating on Goodreads. Apparently, this is about a fairy. They kind of look like angels for what I've seen on the cover, but apparently they're fairies. And it is strictly forbidden to fraternize with humans. And our main character gets caught. And so she gets like exiled and her punishment is to go to this house of this, I don't know if it was a lord or something. And these humans are trying to dethrone fairies. So she has to go to this house and find out what is going on and like tear things apart from the inside so she can be forgiven. She entered this house as a tutor for this lord's son, and yeah, things happen. Apparently it's kind of enemies to lovers, and apparently she's going to teach him like the language of the fairies, even though she's like disguised as a human. I'm gonna give it a shot in February. Then I have Daughter of the Blood by Anne Bishop. What it was interesting about this book for me is that somewhere I heard someone said that this book was kind of the inspiration for ACOTAR. So now I need to read it. Plus it says that there is like this king that he's been like alone forever and now the queen is coming and I'm like, sign me up. The last book that I have is Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher. I didn't know this was a fantasy romance, but I'm super happy. I don't know, but I want to go like super blind into this book, so I probably read the synopsis at some point. No, I don't really care. If it's a fantasy romance, I'm just gonna read it next month and see what happens. So I have 2 in physical, I have 5 in ebook. It's my favorite genre, and I don't know, but lately I haven't read much of that. So I do want to dedicate myself into fantasy romance in February. Hopefully this has, I think some, do you see the difference? This was thrifted, that's probably why. But yeah, that's my TBR for February. Let me know if you're participating in FaroFeb, and if you do or if you don't, which books are in your TBR for February. I'm not really good with TBRs because I'm a huge mood reader. So hopefully I read this. We'll see if I don't, what I end up reading. But yeah, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!